When we talk about design thinking, every single piece of the puzzle matters. But there's one that comes first, one that everything else is literally built on top of. And today, we're going to dive into what that is and, more importantly, why it is so incredibly crucial.
So, what do you think it is? What's that one foundational step? Is it the cool brainstorming sessions, the hands on prototyping? What's the bedrock that holds the whole thing up? It's empathy. Simple as that. This one word is the absolute key that unlocks meaningful, effective, and truly game changing design. And we're about to break down exactly why. Okay, so first things first, we need to get crystal clear on what we actually mean by empathy. Because let's be honest, it's a word that gets thrown around and misunderstood a lot. See, true empathy isn't about feeling sorry for someone. That's actually sympathy, and it's a different thing. Empathy is all about understanding. It's about consciously setting aside your own ideas, your own assumptions, and trying to step into someone else's world to see things from their point of view. And this right here shows the difference perfectly. Sympathy creates distance. You're on the outside looking in at them. But empathy builds a bridge. You're trying to understand the experience from the inside with them. And in design, that bridge, well, it's everything. Which brings us to this absolute truth. Without that deep, genuine understanding, you're not really designing for a person. You're just guessing. You're throwing darts in the dark, hoping you hit something they might want. And that's a really dangerous and expensive game to play. So why does it have to come first? Why is it step one? Well, because jumping ahead to cool ideas and solutions without this foundation, it's just a recipe for disaster. It leads to what we call premature solutions, things that look good on paper but fail in the real world. Let's make this super practical. Imagine your job is to design a new school bag. If you just sit in a room by yourself and start sketching what you think a student needs, you are already way off track. You'd totally miss the stuff that actually matters. How do they really carry it? Do they sling it over one shoulder? What do they stuff in there besides textbooks? Does it dig into their back on the long walk home? These are the real-world problems you only find through empathy, and solving those is what makes a design truly great. Okay, so we get it, right? We know why empathy is so important. But how do you actually do it? It's not just some abstract feeling. It's a set of real, practical skills you can learn. It really comes down to a few core actions. First, you have to go where your users are and just watch. Then you talk to them, not with a script, but with real curiosity. And the most powerful tool of all, you just keep asking, why? You dig deeper and deeper past the surface answers to get to the real motivations, the real frustrations. And here's a little secret, a pro tip, if you will. People will often say one thing, but do something totally different. Your job as an empathetic designer is to spot that gap between their words and their actions, because our behavior, that reveals the truth. And when you start doing this, when you really commit to it, something amazing happens. You stop making assumptions and you start discovering genuine insights. This is that aha moment that every single designer lives for. Check this out. This is a classic example. The common assumption, the lazy judgment, is that elderly people just don't understand technology. But an empathetic designer who actually sits and watches them might discover the real insight. It's not that they don't get it, it's that the text on the screen is too darn small for them to read. You see the difference? It's huge. One is a stereotype. The other is a solvable design problem. That's the transformation. That's the power of empathy. It moves you from judgment to insight. And that's where all great design begins. And listen, don't for a second think this is just for product designers or people making apps. Empathy is the universal foundation for pretty much every design discipline out there. I mean, think about it. If you're designing clothes, you need to understand how they actually feel and move on a real person's body. If you're an interior designer, you have to understand how a family truly lives in a space. Even in game design, you need to understand what makes a player feel challenged or excited or emotionally connected. It all starts with people.
Okay, now let's bring this home. If you're studying for design entrance exams like NID or UC'd, listen up, because this isn't just some nice to have philosophy. This is your key to success. The people grading your work, they're looking for this. They want to see that you can carefully observe the world, that you can identify the real problems people face, not just the obvious ones, and that you can justify your solution based on a real human need. Empathy is the superpower that ties all of that together.
So, really, it all boils down to this. Without empathy, design is just guesswork. It's an empty shell. But with empathy, your work suddenly has a purpose. It becomes meaningful because it's about making a real positive difference in someone's life. So, I'm going to leave you with a little challenge. What's one assumption you have about a group of people, about a product, about anything that a little bit of empathy could completely turn on its head? Think about it, and then go find out.